At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Ranked #1 in innovation for 10 consecutive years and #2 among public universities for employability, ASU isn't just ahead of the curve, it's creating new paths to success. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online, that's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.
You're listening to Make It, the indie film podcast.
Hey everybody, Chris here, and today's episode is brought to you by IDOU. Equip yourself with repeatable, practical frameworks developed by IDEO, empowering your organization to continuously innovate and confidently navigate future challenges. IDOU's courses are built for action, so you can go from learning to doing fast. Apply new skills right away and make real progress. Class starts soon, so enroll today. For a limited time, IDOU is offering 15% off site-wide. So go to IDOU.com/make it. That's IDEOU.com/make it for 15% off. One more time, IDOU, so that's IDEOU.com/make it for 15% off. And now, on to the show. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Make It podcast. I'm your host, Chris Barkley.
That was so exciting. I love it.
Yeah.
That was one of the best ones. Hello. I was like,
I actually
when you give me that, that came up from, I got a little bit. Oh, wait. Let me get that off my face. That was in your throat. That was hello. Thank you for that.
That's one of those Jetsons things, by the way, Nick. That's one of those, we were promised like scratch and sniff technology.
Oh, okay. I'm not scratching and sniffing what you just put on my face, bro. I'm wiping that off.
You know what we got? We got ASMR instead.
Oh, yes, this is true.
That's what we got.
And my kids will watch that stuff. My youngest daughter, she loves. See, there it is. She loves the popping of the noises and like a slime. Right, you just put your hands in the slime and make the noise. She's like, "Dad, it's ASMR." So you can't even spell ASMR. What does that even mean? It's just noise.
Are they not aware of your college degree from Vanderbilt?
No, they're not aware.
You can't even spell.
That's right.
But yes, anyway, kids don't know shit.
Yes, no,
You know how I feel.
I know how you feel about it.
Are you going to introduce yourself, or should we start this podcast over?
I don't need to. You know what? Should know it by this point. Come on, man.
It's NBA playoffs. It's baseball season. I think if you don't introduce yourself, I'm going to run you. You're out of here.
You're just done.
You're out of here. I'm running you.
Okay, Nick
Leave
Bugs,
podcast,
a.k.a.
Nick.
Sexual Chocolate, a.k.a. Chocolate Stud, whatever you want to call me. I'm here to have a good time, as usual.
I love it. And here to guide us on this podcasting journey, as usual, is producer Papa Bear and intern Sam. Fellas, say hello.
Hello. Solo. You just leave me out to dry, bro. Okay.
Yeah. Just the excitement, Sam.
It's cool with me. It's fine.
The excitement was so great. It was just there. Just hello.
You guys are supposed to time this thing up a little better than that, I would think.
Chris wanted high excitement. I had to perform. Yeah.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Love it.
For stepping up your game today.
Yeah, I love that.
Well, if I can drag this out any further, Chris, you always open up, hello, hello. You always say it twice.
I do.
When we're finished, you don't say...
It's something we call branding.
Yeah. So, but you don't say goodbye.
Oh, shit. What's that head exploding emoji?
No, that would just be...
But you know why we say
Sam
goodbye?
said, no.
Anyway, when did we first start saying goodbye? We didn't always say goodbye. We said, God be with ye.
Oh,
if you spell that out,
that's goodbye.
God be with ye. It got shortened over time, at least in English, to goodbye.
How did you find that out?
Something I wanted to know.
When did you find that? That is pretty good. I'm going to give you a
Thank you.
Good job, Paul.
Nice. That was well played.
That was very, very good. Okay, and with us is our esteemed guest. Greta. Quispe.
What?
Greta Quispe.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yes.
How's that sound? Was that good?
I love it.
Did that feel good? That feel good to
That was
everybody?
perfect.
I love it.
That was
Greta?
great. I like how you roll your R's.
Mm-hmm. I'm very good at it. I heard that's genetic. Like you either can do it or you can't.
That's the German in you.
Like rolling your tongue? Yeah, it's genetic. Like you can either roll your R's or you can't. Is that true? Does anybody, Papa Bear?
Oh, is that true?
That is true.
Well,
Some of my friends can't. Yeah, some of my friends can't. We clown them. I can.
Well,
Why would you clown for that?
I love it. He's a
That's
clown.
great.
Nope, you can't do it.
Friends find any reason like to joke on friends. I love that about. Yeah, I love that.
Sam's over there like, say burrito.
Say burrito. Say it authentic.
burrito.
Right.
Say it authentically.
We keep breaking it out all the time. Like, we had an incident where we were at Chewy's. It's a Tex-Mex place we have in
Overrated.
I like Chewy's. I think it's good.
I think Chewy's been used.
It's pretty good.
Great garbage.
He just hated on it. But go ahead, Sam.
But we're ordering.
They distract you with the decor.
100,000%.
I don't know. I think it's pretty good. They bring out like ranch to dip your chips in. It's awesome.
Nice.
But my buddy, it's like 5 of us there. 3 of my buddies order carne asada, right? And it gets my one friend. He's very pale, very, very pale guy. And he goes, I'll have the carne asada. It's like that. We almost had to make him leave. I mean, I'm going to be honest.
You got to run him. You got to run. That's a technical foul.
We were close. It was a close
foul.
one.
You got to run him, Sam, for that. That's crazy.
Hence
By the way, Nick, we're never going to have Chewy's as a sponsor now.
No, you totally clowned.
Yep. I blew that for us. That deal's
draw
all.
a line through that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we had it. We were close. We draw a line right through that. Okay. On to our delightful guest, Greta. Can you tell us a little bit more in this audience what we might know you for, what you're working on now, or what you're excited about? We'd love to hear it.
Sure. So hi, I'm Greta. I am an actor. I've had a couple of bit roles here and there. I recently, a recent episode of Matlock that I worked with the wonderful Kathy Bates. So it was a wonderful experience. I was also on New Amsterdam, which was a show about a medical, about a hospital, and just a very handsome lead, And I played Nurse Sabrina in a couple of episodes on that one, just a little bit here and there, scattered. I'm excited about a new Tyler Perry show that I had a couple of guest star episodes on. It's coming out sometime in June. It's called Divorced Sisters. And so I'm excited about that one. But yeah, so a couple little here and there.
I've heard of Divorced Sisters. Wait. This is a Tyler Perry show, right?
Divorced Sisters.
Thank you.
I didn't know where you were going with that. Okay. I should have known. I don't know why. I don't know why I was surprised by that in any way.
Yeah,
but tell us about the show. I have seen some previews of this already. So tell us about what this show is about and what your role is.
Sure. So the show is about best friends who just go through trials and tribulations. They're both, I don't know how much I can say.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Well, by the way, this will not air until the show is likely aired. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, feel free.
So, it's about 5 females. They're divorced, and they go through struggles together. And it's actually a really good show. Like Mr. Perry works really, really fast. So you had to like read everything. Like you had to basically study all the episodes and make sure you were on point. And it's such a good show, you guys. Like even if I wasn't like in it a couple of episodes, I think I would be glued to the television for this. I mean, it's a great show. It's drama and infidelities here and there, so it's fine.
It's what we
you
come
worked
to
in
know and
Atlanta?
love from Tyler Perry.
Yes, I worked in Atlanta for that one.
Atlanta's changing. Atlanta seems to be changing recently, right? Like the production there has changed a little bit in terms of like some shows.
Yeah,
leaving.
I mean Tyler Perry, my God bless him. My goodness, he's such an inspiration. He came from like very humble beginnings, and he's making it happen for Atlanta, for actors, for he's like employing a lot of people over there, and he's wonderful as well. So yeah, so
I hear the studio is like a college campus.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, I hear
Absolutely
it's like
stunning.
Yeah, I hear it's something that you should actually just go tour. You know what I mean? Like you should just like visit it, because there's really nothing like it, even outside of Atlanta. Like, I want to just go just to see it, but I'd love to be down there for work for like a real reason. Like I want to go to his house. Film reason. You want to go to his house? I've seen those aerial pictures too. Those are crazy.
Yeah, I want to go to the airstrip in the back of his house and fly those planes that he builds himself. Those remote control planes.
You're a brave man.
Yeah, dude, those remote
you want to fly them,
things.
you don't want to be in them.
Oh, no, they're small. Well, I mean, they're bigger than any remote control plane you've ever seen in your life, but they're toys that he builds with a friend of his, and he has an airstrip in the back of his house. It's just a cool hobby to have.
Yeah,
I think so. A cool guy.
You can kind of pick and choose your hobbies. I think at that level. I do want to just ask about your beginnings, Greta. There is a story about your dad winning the lottery. Now, if you win $250 in the lottery, is that still like? Can you say you won the lottery?
Yes.
At that level.
Small amount.
Like
that's right. But it could be an impactful amount. You never know.
Well, it's like you go into the hospital and
there you go.
Some people will say, I had a surgery. They're like, oh, you had a surgery. What was it? I had LASIX. And you're like, well, that's a procedure. And you're like, okay. Yeah. There's like this thing that happens. Like it's like, so that was the spirit.
Bro,
the spirit of that comment.
No, if they're lasering part of my eyeball off, dude, that's a surgery. Right there.
I think people pick these words. Is it a procedure or is it a surgery? Not LASIK, but there's a lot of things like that. And so my dad won the lotto. Oh my God, you're rich. No, he won $250. But here's the deal: you did get those headshots,
exactly.
And were those headshots really your entree into being an actress and being in film and television, or were you already pursuing that heavily and had already booked roles before that?
No, this was my entree. So what happened was my mom, I was raised in Bronzeville, Brooklyn, and
make it in New York.
We didn't really have any money, and here I am. Hey, so we were here. We were like, me and my mom, we were talking about just things that I wanted to do, and I was like, I want to be an actor, and I really thought that they were going to be like, are you crazy? You're not going to make any money. Da, da, da. She was like, okay. And then I got a backstage, and then I looked for things on what to do, and I went to an acting school, and then they did, and we didn't know anything. My mom had saved money, and we were like on SNAP and Medicaid. We just like we were not well off at all. So, but she had saved up her money to put me in an acting school to see what happens, right? See what happens. Yeah. So we went to the acting school. I had a showcase, and 3 agents were interested in me at that time. And I went to their offices, and the one that we liked, and she was like, okay, let's get the ball rolling. Now, where are your headshots? We were like, what is that? What?
Oh,
and they're like, oh, you don't have headshots? And I was like, no, I you don't have headshots. What is that? And she showed us and whatever. And then she was like, it's okay. We can start you with a Polaroid. And took a Polaroid picture of me just to take it to casting directors and just so that I, And then a couple of weeks later, my dad, he won the lotto.
Yeah.
It's called the lotto in the hood because it's probably dominoes or whatever. He called it domino. I don't know where he got the money from, but he called it lotto. So no, he won the lotto. So it was like $250. Yeah. And then he gave me the whole thing so that I can get my headshots.
That's amazing.
And then I got my headshots. And then I gave it to my agent. And
let's go, Dad.
The rest is history. What was the first role you sort of booked off? I would say those headshots are your first role you did that as an actor or actress.
Gosh, let me tell you what happened with that one. So I was signed by an agent when I was 17 years old, a very long time ago, with the headshots.
It's
right?
so hard to get an agent too. So congrats to that.
It's so hard. It's such a blessing. Like, I'm also Christian, so it's going to come up a lot. I would have these auditions. They were very rare though, because thank God, it's become more diverse, film and TV, but back then, not at all. Okay. So it was barely any little pepperies of auditions here and there. And so I was signed when I was 17. I had a couple auditions, couple of callbacks I didn't book, right? My first booking of a co-star, by then that was 10 years later. So I kept trying, but nothing happened. 10 years later, I booked my first co-star with my new headshots. Now I have a job. And then I booked my first co-star. Then I waited another 10 years. And then that's when I started booking. Wow. So
what happened in between there? Is that where you did all of your training in that time? Is that like the Meisner and the method acting that you learned to do?
Yeah, so I took classes at Lee Strasberg Film and Theater Institute in New York. Nice. But it was just like intensives. I never went to a conservatory or anything like that. I went to Long Island University, the Brooklyn campus, and I studied social work there, which is what I also do, for the consistent pay. I do that. So I got my degree. So I was just like living life, and I got a degree in social work because I figure, let me get a profession, let me work in the profession where I study human behavior so I can just use it in my little toolbox.
That's acting. Actually fascinating, yeah.
Really what acting is. So,
and you would say that helped, like that degree, it like helped you in your profession, like acting? Like, does it help you to listen to the person you're performing against? Or does it help you find the emotion inside yourself more, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, in social work, there's a lot of active listening, and which is the same thing with an actor. And I think it allows me to study behaviors, the reasons why we do the things we do, because I was also a minor in psychology. So I think it's great when I'm building backstories for characters, if I need to do a backstory, that why is she reacting in this way? What happened in her past? So I just gather from clients, because I work with so many different populations. So I just gather from them, or if I can't think of it creatively, I'll just remember a client who I've helped in their life story. And I just, based on the context, I just put it into, Maria. Whatever the character is. I just go from there.
I love
the inside
one
baseball
of those clients, though, Chris. Like, but think about one of the clients watching a show and be like, "That's me." like that's my life that she's acting right now. That'd be crazy.
Right. Well, that's what we were talking about. We were talking about that with Dominic Hoffman, the great Dominic Hoffman. Is like, when you're writing stuff, you're mixing your imagination with your lived experience.
Yeah, that's right.
And so sometimes the people in real life bleed into your fiction writing, and then they see themselves in your characters, and then they hate you. They're like, yo,
right? Come on, bro.
Like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? So.
But I'm sure no one has done that. No one has caught her on the street and been like, yo, listen, Maria. Okay.
Roll those R's.
Maria Conchita.
That's right.
Well, the inside baseball on that, Greta, you tell me if I'm wrong or right, but the inside baseball on that is that my guess is that you get cast for very, very similar roles and stereotypes, just like I feel like any actor of color does.
Yeah, totally. I mean, you know what? And I've gotten that question before, right? And it's like, man, like I'm working, and it's almost like it's okay to play. Not, like I'm not, constantly going to play it, but if it's an opportunity, like I will still do it because these are real people as well, and I just, the kind of roles that I've done. If Scorsese comes up to me and he's like, would you mind being a prostitute for Leonardo DiCaprio? Honey, Maria Panchita Gonzalez, whatever. I gotta do it. And I'm so blessed to be working. I mean, eventually I will, if I ever get to that point of being able to say no, then I'll say no. But as for now, I am trying to ride whatever wave comes my way.
Yeah, and Chris, I think about that too, like, because I think sometimes we tend to think about it that way, as like they're stereotypical. But it's more like, no, like we exist. These characters exist in the world. So like, like Greta was saying, these are real people, right? Whether like, no matter what that role is, they're real people. So it's like, hey, if I get to play that real person, why not? That person looks like me. They sound like me. Yeah. I do that part well. Hey, I'll take it. Let's go.
I actually don't. I'm with both of you. I don't begrudge it at all. Because here's the deal. If there's work to be done, somebody's going to book it. If you don't, that's that's just the truth. It's too competitive to say no. And then, here's the other thing. If there's a negative, it's this. The reason the stereotypical roles exist is because the imaginations of the writers are limited to those characters. So when they see a Peruvian American, actress, okay, she can play Hispanic, Latino, she can do it. Okay, well, what's a Hispanic look like? What's a Latino look like in New York? And what would they talk like? What would their behavior be like? And that's what becomes a stereotype. The roles start to expand when you can imagine Greta in the same role that you could imagine Kristen Bell in. Then the aperture starts to open a little bit, right?
Well, and then there's she's not going to be credible in a role that as a Norwegian cod fisherman.
Okay, that's amazing.
But they can do amazing things with makeup.
Yeah, and I wouldn't count Greta out, man. Like put her in the role and see how it looks, see what she brings to the role, because she's Meisner trained, method trained. She can do it. Now, you were in one of my favorite movies from a year ago, I believe, American Fiction. And I'm curious if anything. So Cord Jefferson is a writer-director of this film. It was nominated for Best Picture. And I'm curious, it being his first time, was there anything that you were able to teach him in terms of how he directed actors? And is there anything you learned from him working with him? I guess that's a two-sided question.
He was just so grateful. Like at the end, he was just like, thank you so much for, this is my first time directing. Thank you so much for taking this opportunity with me. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, excuse me, Mr. Jefferson, and Mr. Jeffrey Wright, are you kidding me? Like, and then I played a director of a nursing home, like, and it's like, goodness gracious. And working with Jeffrey Wright, oh my God.
Yeah. He just showed up in The Last of Us, and I'm like, heck yeah. That's what we needed. That's what we needed this season. Some Jeffrey Wright.
It was so nerve-wracking.
He's
and John Ortiz.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's actually in the game too, Chris. I don't know. I'm sorry to interrupt. I just see.
No. This is great, Sam. I didn't know that because I didn't play. Have you played the game, Sam?
Both of them, yeah.
I've never played it. So what platform is it on? This is like a noob question, but like what platform?
PlayStation.
So it's on PlayStation.
Exclusive.
So
Yeah,
this is, I don't know why I thought this was a PC game.
It's on PC.
Okay, like I thought it was like but did it become popular on PlayStation, Sam? Or did it become popular on PC and then move to PlayStation?
Yeah, so it's a PlayStation exclusive. The first one, they're both on PS4 and now they're on PS5. And then Sony's got like an initiative with PlayStation and their games now, so they're putting them all on PC.
Oh.
More accessible.
How do you feel about the female actor, Sam? My son, he's like, she don't look anything like the girl in the game. Like, I hate that. He's like, the guy does, but the girl doesn't. I don't like it.
No, she doesn't look anything like the like Ellie in the game. It's done by Ashley Johnson, who's like an actual actor too. She's also horrendous. She's really not good. I really don't like her at all. That's why I'm not watching season 2. So
wow,
season 2 is really good. Check out episode 2 of season 2, Sam.
I'll probably get around to it.
Yeah.
They talked about how they're doing 3 seasons to cover the second game, so they're running it for 4 seasons. So
okay,
you digress
all this time.
But back to Greta, her lived experience was actually pretty good for that role because the director of a nursing home is often someone with a social work background.
Yeah, and they didn't even know I had that background, so I used it.
Because you played the part so well, She just
if we were casting you, we would have known that. Yeah, we're just saying
inside baseball.
We would have known. Now, this is what's interesting, by the way, Sam. A lot of people will read a book and then go watch the movie based on the book, and then sometimes people will watch a movie and say that movie was so good. I'm now interested in the book. I'm going to go read the book. And now I feel like we're moving into this world where games are such IP now. Mm-hmm. There's been like at least 15 or 20 movies in the last 5 years based on games.
Oh, yeah.
So
for sure.
Now it's like, do you play the game and get mad because the movie doesn't match? Or do you watch the movie, you're a guy like me, and be like, okay, now I'm interested in Minecraft. Now I'm interested in The Last of Us.
For me, I mean, The Last of Us games did a lot for kind of creating cinematic experiences in gaming. So really having a rich narrative, or a lot more narrative driven than most games. So a lot of it comes from like the gameplay is really good, but there's a lot more kind of slow sections with story and those types of things. And so I really think that it provides an interesting opportunity because like the first season of The Last of Us came out in 2022 or 3, something like that.
Yeah.
And there's obviously been like a 1.5 break. And so it allowed time, and Sony knew this, right? So they put The Last of Us Part 2 on PS5 and on PC so that people could go play it and see the rest of the story before it's in the show. Yeah. Kind of get that payoff, they don't have to wait, which is nice in the world of Netflix, right? Where Stranger Things, new season, wherever that is, right? Talks about it's getting cut up into 3 parts and you got to wait a year and you lose interest. And, it bridges that gap a little bit, which is pretty cool.
I dig it. And before we get into some audience polls, me too, I'm with you. So before we get into audience polls with you, Sam, I just want to ask Greta this one question about top of show rate. I know there's going to be a lot of people. Matter of fact, most people in our audience, shout out to the YouTube audience, by the way, would view themselves in your position. They want to be actors or actresses or what, a lot of times we just say actor now, but they will be listening to this and they will want to know, what do they have to do? What is the process? How do you get, first of all, what is top of show rate and how do you get it when you're negotiating roles, especially, roles where you're supporting?
Okay, so it's like the hierarchy is like co-star, guest star, top of show guest star, recurring, and then series regular. You're doing like a TV show or a series, right?
A hierarchy.
So when you're like a guest star, you can ask your agent to negotiate to be a top of show guest star. From my knowledge, you'll get a little bit more money. But you also, your name pops up in the credits in the beginning of the show, either single card by itself or with other actors. So you can negotiate that as well. So for top of show, it's, you could negotiate it, but you have a little bit more power to negotiate if you've already done other guest stars.
Okay.
So yeah. So, once you've done one guest star, maybe your next one could be top of show. But once you've done one top of show and you're working on another show more than 2 days, then you're automatically top of show or something like that, or you can say you want to be top of show and you can do that.
And what's the hierarchy again?
I think.
It was a hierarchy again. That was a good.
Just like, what the?
You're right. Yeah. How did it go? What was the levels?
It's co-star. I feel bad doing that. Co-star, guest star, top of show guest star, recurring, series regular.
All right.
Nice.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll make sure we keep that.
But actors out there, you guys want to pursue it, just keep doing it. And it doesn't matter the hierarchy. If you love it for what it is, playing, then you're never going to be disappointed. Of course, we all want to move up and play other roles, but just live in the moment of what you have. Every audition, every booking is a win. Even if you don't book it, you get to play. You get to do what you love. It's amazing.
I love that. I love it.
Me too. That's very, very good. Sam, let's do it, man. What do you think?
Go, man.
Can we hop into some audience polls, sir?
I think we can.
Give us some audience polls, Sam.
There we go. All right.
The energy.
I think it's time.
Yeah,
it's
right.
time. There we go.
Captain.
All right, so I got some. That's what I've been sipping on.
Yeah, I see you over there.
Belmont mug, some coffee.
Nice. Let's go, Belmont. So you representing.
Do my best.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Belmont.
Okay.
Come sponsor Belmont.
That'd be cool. So, Greta.
Yes.
With the research that Papa Bear provided, we kind of saw that you have a lot of experience playing kind of a myriad of different types of genres and types of roles. So I thought it would be interesting to run a poll. What type of acting is the most difficult? So what type of roles are the most difficult to play? Now, number one, pretty unsurprisingly, is drama, 53%. Number two, comedy, 28%, which I feel like is kind of deceptive, a little, deceptively difficult. Horror with 10%, and then action, 9%. So, pretty interesting results, a little all over the place. But.
What do you think, Greta? Is that on point? Like, drama's the hardest to do out of all of them?
Well, it depends. I think if you're a wounded, unhealed individual, you can play drama very well. Honestly.
That's like
you
everybody.
Literally have it in you to be that vulnerable.
Okay.
So hence my reel. No. I think comedy is very hard to play. And I consider myself funny to any friends that are watching out there in life. But when it's like actually the lines and like the beats, comedians are amazing, and then I think that's very hard to play as comedy. It's very, very hard. And for me, I find roles to be hard, if they don't have that drama, if they don't have that torture of something going on with the character, if I'm just like saying lines or just like there's no real there's no trauma behind it, I think it's a little difficult for me to navigate. But when there is something going on, like someone took my child or I put a gun to my head in one of Blue Bloods episodes, shout out to Blue Bloods, great show. I think those I thrive in. Again, unhealed trauma, I can do those. But the other ones that are more simple are like, oh, shoot, I gotta go to my social work and come up with the backstory and make believe I'm that person. Sometimes it's hard to do that. When you're not really playing much, it's like,
So it would be hard for you to do like a Liberty Mutual commercial.
Liberty.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to do the Liberty.
See?
Yeah, I want to do that so freaking
That's the
bad.
best one though. Like he hasn't, everything after that's not good. That one, Liberty is the best.
Hey man, those dudes get paid. Those dudes gets paid.
I know he does. He's also a soap opera star, bro. But like
Liberty gets paid now.
But he's also a soap opera star. So what I'm saying is Liberty, that one commercial was the best one. Everything after that, I'm like, man, you're just trying to, get Bibbity again. But that first one, bro, I was like, that's awesome.
His delivery
is
amazing. He's so funny. I mean, ooh.
Commercial writing isn't for everybody for that reason, right? Because there's so many people that are like not creative in that creative space, I should say, and they would never in a million years seriously consider writing the words liberty bibberty on a,
it was wonderful.
Like on a script, right? And you have to know that that's going to work, right? Like to write that out. So I just think it's great.
The delivery.
Now, was horror on the bottom, Sam? Was horror the bottom one?
It was third front. So it was the third most, I guess, but it was only 1% above action. So it was 10%, and then action's 9%.
Why do people think action is easy?
I think they think about it from the acting perspective. They don't think about all the physical stuff. I think that's what it is. Hard. I think they're thinking about it from the character part. Mm-hmm. I think that's what it is. Like the spoken word part of the acting, not all the physicality and stuff. Because like you said, just ask Tom Cruise. Come on, man.
You can ask Tom Cruise, but you can also ask the DPs that have to work with Tom Cruise and all the setup.
Yes.
The setup for action is so hard, and you only get so many tries to do that. If you're doing comedy, and Nick, me and you can attest to this when we did Adult Interference, you can have 40 takes.
No, so can Tom Cruise. He can fly off that that cliff.
No, they do that. They do that. Like when he did that motorcycle.
The motorcycle.
He did it like 7 times. And
seven's not 40.
I bet it feels like 40.
I bet it does for everybody involved.
But have a scene, Sam. Have a scene that involves a car explosion or any explosion. Well, you get one chance to do that.
I think it also involves a different kind of difficulty layer too, which is, I'm in this room with green walls and I'm acting to a tennis ball. What is that?
Oh, if it's a green screen, it's not practical.
Exactly. Okay. And that's, Dwayne Johnson pulls up and then he's got to do that. And people don't give The Rock any credit, for good reason.
But he's playing a wrestler. He's probably going to get awards for that one.
That's his push. That'll be his push. I think he'll be able to do it. Well, and he's pivoting pretty hard because he's in the new Scorsese that's on the way, and he's changing it up. But I think that he got, I think a lot of people see someone like The Rock and they see him play himself or play a version of himself, and they're like, well,
they see a version of the wrestler.
Yeah. And they're like, I can do that, right? Anyone can do that. So therefore, I don't think people see it as difficult. When in actuality, like the reason he's in all these movies is because he can do it, right? He's got that down. It's just, it's not that he is.
It's not just saying lines. It's just, Exactly. I remember one time I got a DM on Instagram. The person was like, I did a little thing on Succession, which, long story, but.
Love that show.
And how can I apply to be on Succession? I said, how can you apply to be on Succession? No, darling, that's not how it works.
No application process.
And I think a lot of people just say, well, I can do that. I can sit on camera and say the lines. I mean, you could, but you probably won't be really successful and nobody really will. I mean, everybody works, right? That's meant to work. But I think all actors that really want to take this serious should want to work in serious things and show their talent, and their love of the craft means involvement in the craft and studying the craft. So,
it's a little disrespectful.
ADD completely.
It's a little disrespectful, right? Like, and this person may be a great performer. I have no idea who this person is, but it's this idea that they can just hop in and do what you do. Why not? And it's like, well, I put in a lot of work on this, man. I did some training. I auditioned for 10 years. I got jobs here or there. Like, this is not, super simple. Like have a little bit of that respect, right? People thought that with podcasting. I can't tell you how many people just are like, oh, you just click record, right? I'm like, no. I wish that was what the podcast game was.
So dismissive.
But when you're really, really in it, it's there's a lot to it, and everybody on this podcast knows that. But to be fair, you don't expect a person not doing it to know that. So we give a little grace too. Sam, hit us with the next poll, my friend.
Hit us with your next shot.
What happened, Nick, with the next poll?
I don't know where it's going. Yeah,
let's go.
So, also pulled from the research.
Throw that
we
poll
know you
on.
have. Okay, we have some knowledge that you that you have some experience stage acting, and so it's another one, which is more difficult. Stage acting or screen acting. Now, this one went about how I kind of thought it would, right? 82% said stage acting is more difficult. 18% said screen acting.
Greta,
I kind of thought so.
Is that one of those things where society has said that so much that you find yourself repeating the narrative as if it's an original thought, when in fact you've just heard stage acting is harder than screen acting?
Oh, it really is harder. And I've always feared doing stage acting before I started doing it, because it's like live.
It's
right?
live.
If you mess up a line in a television show, okay, cut this. I mean, you don't want to mess up in front of Tyler Perry because that's Core Jefferson. Like it's like, but you can start over. You can cut. I mean, it's wasting tape and it's costing the studio money. But in theater, oh no, darling, fuck up. You fuck up everybody else around you, and they will see. The audience can tell. It's hard, but it's also exhilarating. It's beautiful because, like I said, in film and TV, cut, stop, and you're in it. And like when I was working with Kathy Bates, and we would cut this scene, and I was crying because this is what I do, trauma. I was crying, and makeup, they cut, and makeup was trying to, Miss Bates was like, no, leave her alone, because I was in it. And sometimes you got to go for light, to fix the light and stuff, you got to get interrupted. Whereas in theater, you're in it, and you live in the moment, and you take the audience with you on that full ride. And that's the beauty of it. But it's scary as hell. So it is hard.
Yeah, I just watched this thing with Denzel, right, talking about Othello. And he said, theater is an actor's medium. Movies are a filmmaker's medium. And I thought that was really cool, really insightful. But he did mention the same thing about, you're on stage, you're live. Like, you have to get it. And you have to do it in front of all of these people.
Yeah. So very astute by him. By the way, did you guys see him getting that little kerfuffle at Cannes? Yeah. What was that about?
Don't touch me.
The guy was touching
is that what he's saying? He was just getting touched a little bit?
Yeah, he's too familiar. He's like, you don't know me, bro.
What happened, it was weird. He grabbed him. Denzel, A$AP Rocky walked up, and then he kind of scurried off after that. But
he did.
But he grabbed Denzel, and Denzel was like, don't touch me, right? Yep. And then he went and grabbed him again, because he wanted to be, like, hooked arms with him. He wanted that moment. There was a classic moment, I think, of all publicity is good publicity. I didn't really work out for him.
No,
I don't think.
It didn't.
I'm kind of getting that vibe.
Oh, you're thinking it didn't work out for Denzel or the other guy?
No, for
the other guy.
Who was the other guy? Do we know him?
Some dude. Nah, he's just some dude. It
reminded me of a scene from the movie Maria, starring Angelina Jolie, where the financier, who is, I don't know who it's played by. He did a great job. But basically that guy was Jacqueline Onassis' father. Okay. And he had a massive sort of empire he had built for South America. And they're in this party, right? And there's this woman that walks up to him, and she is not sort of like glazing him to the degree that he is used to. And it becomes very clear that she is not going to, and she might not know who she's talking to. And he gets so frustrated by this, he turns to the Maria character, played wonderfully by Angelina Jolie. If you haven't seen the movie, I've said it a bunch of times, go see it. Yeah, she loses herself in the role. And he says, will you let her know that I'm the richest guy in the room? And it's like this moment of, when you have a lot of money and power and people don't recognize your money and power, it pisses you off, because what is the money and power for them?
Yeah, I think in Denzel's
and that guy might have been a financier, and you're like, you're going to recognize me. I pay for your movie.
Yeah,
maybe,
and
or something
and the
like
opposite
that.
side of that is that Denzel is just. It's funny because he just it's not about the streets or the hood or neighborhood.
Right,
it's like,
right.
The way I look at it is like kind of like my uncles, right, and probably how my dad is and how I am, right, where it's just kind of like there's certain people have to remember themselves and not get so familiar. Yeah. That's what it is. It's like, because there's certain lines
he's still a person.
You're not supposed to cross. Exactly. It's like, I don't know. Like don't get so familiar. That's all I'm asking. And he was really nice about it. Right, especially the first time. He's like, no, just don't do that. Like he wasn't pissed. He was just putting him in his place. And then when he grabbed his arm again, it was like,
all right, here we go. You know, bro, he's the equalizer.
Exactly. That's what everybody was saying. They're like all the little memes were like, what is it? No. Don't let him set his watch.
Yeah, don't let him set his watch. Don't let him move that napkin around too much on the table. That's when it's about to get crazy up in here.
That's right.
So that whole thing, by the way, Greta, theater, like the audience, that adrenaline rush of having the audience with you. Can you feel that while you're performing? I've never done a big play, but I've done 2 or 3 plays, and I found that when I was doing them, I felt really connected to the rest of the cast on stage, but I wasn't really sure if we did well until it was over. I don't know. Like, is the experience when you're doing great that you're going to feel it in the audience, or do you really have to wait till it's over, like I did?
I don't know. I think for me, anyways, if I'm thinking in my head, oh shit, I did that delivery great. Look at that one crying. From the peripheral or something. Then I'm not in it.
Yeah. Right. If you're paying attention,
that means
to
I'm
them,
not in it, and
right.
it's a service to my fellow actors. Yeah,
I see. Because you're distracted.
You can't help it sometimes, overall. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like, I'll say a funny line and somebody laughs, like guy all the way back. He laughs and I'm like, oh shit.
Well,
and they're like, come back, Greta, come back.
That's the advantage a comedian has, because they're getting instantaneous feedback on whether their set is working or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And when you're performing, depending on what you're performing, where you're at on stage, you might not, and depending on what is the story, like you may not get that audible feedback where you do kind of have to look and say, hey, this is supposed to be emotional. Is someone crying? Like, what is happening here? Because we're not going to get laughter here.
Yeah, I've had people cry, like on one particular play that I did.
Was it La Gota
she
Fria?
Was letting it known that she was crying. And I was like...
Ugly cry.
When you can hear it, it's an ugly cry.
But it does feel good. You did touch them, so it's nice. It's a nice reception. It's a nice reception.
I like it. I love it. Sam, you did it, my friend. Thank you. Those were some dope audience polls.
Audience polls. Yep.
Yeah. And thank you to the audience for voting. We couldn't do it without you guys, by the way. So if you love how we engage with you, like we love how you engage with us, make sure you go to YouTube and like and subscribe and watch all the videos. And like we always say, we're going to reply to 100% of that. So keep it coming. We love it. And they fuel our audience polls. So thank you guys for that. Let's move on to some things we should know, man.
With PB.
Yep.
He said Maine.
Okay.
Maine.
Papa Bear.
Let's go, PB.
My main man, Papa Bear. Why don't you drop some things we should know?
Okay. Well, the first thing we should know is that Things We Should Know is brought to you by the Cotton Bureau, who sponsors our online shop where we offer buttery soft T-shirts, hoodies, both pullover and zip up, hats, much more. Just go to cottonbureau.com and search for the Make It podcast and find your favorite apparel in your favorite colors, many available emblazoned with your favorite cities like LA, New York, London, Toronto, Tokyo, Chicago, Sydney, Atlanta, New York, London.
Well, you already said New York and London. There's not 2 New York and 2 London. Well, there might be.
Well, there are.
Yeah, there probably are.
You're staying away.
Londons.
Yeah.
But of course, I want everybody to know Nashville.
Yeah, Nashville. There it is. There you go. Bring it home.
So don't wait. Go to cottonbureau.com. Make your own personal Make It podcast connection and find us and shop.
Yeah.
I'm going to get one.
Shop. There you
go. There you go, Greta. Yeah, go to cottonbureau.com, search for the Make It podcast, pick your city, pick your shirt, pick your color, and you will not regret it. Shout out to Cotton Bureau for that. Papa Bear, hit us with some things we should know here.
All right, Greta, you've worked in a lot of TV shows. And
Nope, she hasn't. No, I'm just kidding.
Let the man go. Let him go. He messed up his rhythm. He got a rhythm.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
You worked on a lot of TV shows. You worked with a lot of celebrities, both in film and TV. So who is the only person to ever win an Oscar for acting in a Stephen King movie.
Oh, wow. The only person to ever.
Well, is
I
that,
think Sam might know this.
did this person win for their role in the Stephen King movie? Or
Oh, he's being tricky.
Yes.
or okay.
Oh,
okay.
yes.
There we go. That narrows it down.
So just go ahead and pick, Sam.
I can't pick because I don't watch Stephen King
Kathy
movies
Bates?
like that. So,
You don't? You've never watched like any Stephen?
No.
I just, I don't, I can't. It's.
All right, Greta's got Kathy Bates.
That's a good shout.
I'm going to go with Kathy Bates as well because I think it's for Misery.
Misery.
Yeah, Kathy Bates, Misery. Chris and Greta
I'm going
right here.
I don't know. I don't know if this is I have no
Or is
idea.
this probably being tricky, Sam? You think?
I don't know. I'm going for a weird one that I don't even know.
Matlock. Let's see. That's the.
I'm going Shelley Duvall.
Shelley Duvall. That's
I don't
good.
know. I
What
feel
movie
like
was
it
Shelley
might be
Duvall in?
Shining.
Shining, of course.
Shining.
Dumb.
Yeah, it was like a huge deal.
That's right. I always think of Jack Nicholson. Nicholas, are you really abstaining?
I'm going to have to abstain because I wouldn't know. I mean, the Kathy Bates thing is like someone that knows that I almost hope it's not that because the Greta connection. But I don't know. What's I can't remember his name now. Of course, I can see him in everything. But the guy who was in Misery, who got
James Caan. James
Caan. Yeah, he's just.
That's a good guess. I'm going to write you. I'm going to write you down for James Caan.
Okay, because he's just phenomenal in like everything he does. So
everything.
Yes.
James Caan. So I've got Greta with Kathy Bates, me with Kathy Bates, Sam with Shelley Duvall, Nick with James Caan. What if it is Jack Nicholson? And by the way, shout out to Stephen King. Who is more prolific? Who? I defy you to find somebody who has done more than him. And he has an incredible blog. And Sam, Papa Bear, you know about this, where he teaches you how to write better. And I think that's pretty dope as well. So shout out to Stephen King. Do you have something else? Right. You have another? Sam, you're about to say something?
No, I was having a conversation with my dad the other day about authors being prolific. And Stephen King, definitely one to come to mind. Also, we got to shout out Jeff Kinney, author of Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Cranks them out year after year, sometimes 2, 3 a year. So
is he the new Judy Blume?
I think he would.
Judy Blume. R.L. Stein, too, is my guy.
R.L. Stein.
Yeah, R.L. Stein. I got that book right over there. Yeah.
The character Fudge had an unusual impact on my life from a Judy Blume book, if I have that memorized right. And to the point that where I was well into high school. So I started reading at like 4 or 5 years old, and I would start it with Judy Blume books. I loved reading them. It was an escape for me. And whenever I didn't know an answer to a question on a test in high school, I would answer Fudge. And it was an homage to Judy Blume. I don't think I've ever said that, ever, out loud. So there you go.
Aww,
shout out to Judy Blume. Okay, well, and shout out to my educational system and me not knowing very much. And, my great parents that pushed me towards greatness in education.
That's right, Dante. That's right.
That's right. Okay, anyhow, it all worked out. Papa Bear, give us the answer.
Well, we do have a winner.
Yeah.
Oh. So it's
Two
not
winners.
Jack.
It's 2 winners, bro. Come on.
Greta and Chris. Yes,
on
it's Kathy
nose.
Bates.
Yeah,
There's
on the nose.
no shortage of great villains found throughout the works of Stephen King. And it's her for Misery. She's the only one. It's hard to believe.
It's hard to believe because he's had so many great films. And I'll have to give – listen, let me give this to you, Greta.
Congratulations!
So I have to give it to Greta because I would not have said Kathy Bates if she didn't say it first.
No, and that's why I couldn't piggyback on it, dude. I had to go somewhere else. It was like, and it was so on the nose. It's like, I gotta say, yes. It's like, I gotta say somebody else.
Just spice it up,
I can't take full credit for this. I wouldn't get this.
Yeah, man, that's not a thing we should do.
That is not a thing. well played, sir. And Papa Bear, that is a thing we should know. The thing about that one is that makes it different, by the way, Papa Bear, than maybe some of the other hundreds that you've done, is that with this particular answer, the answer isn't the surprising part, I think. The answer is, the surprising part, I should say, is the question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, there's only been one person.
Only one.
In all of Stephen King's movies to win an Oscar. That's, I think, the surprising part. So that is
a woman.
Thank you, Popper. And
yes,
a woman. Yep. Kathy Bates, shout out to her, top 5% actor of all time to me. She's really great. And you put her in, you plug her in, and you watch the show or movie do really well. It's as simple as that.
And Greta's had the privilege of working with her.
That's right.
Yeah.
Greta's had
quite the blessing, yeah.
We need to ask you, Greta, when we get back, we need to pay some bills. But when we get back, we need to ask you what you learned from her, if anything, about professionalism, acting, anything else that comes to mind. So before we do that, though, let's pay some bills.
We'll do that after the break.
After the break. We'll be right back. Shout out to today's sponsor, IDOU. Feel like you're falling behind on AI, a little bit worried your organization is pulling ahead without you? Common feeling. Boost your impact and drive your team forward with IDOU's online learning experiences, including the new AI and design thinking programs. You'll master machine learning with IDEO's signature human-centered programs. IDOU has a whole suite of AI and design thinking programs that will show you how to combine AI tools with human-centered design to boost creativity, speed up insights, and solve problems in new ways. Now, Nick, I am currently enrolled in storytelling for influence, and I have to say, these courses are A++.
A++. Now, I'd have to agree with you, my friend. I'm really enjoying the Unlocking Creativity course, as well as, because, I do 2 courses at once because I'm like that, Cultivating Creative Collaboration. These are 2 courses that I think are great for creatives. They're great for filmmakers because they really help you get through some of those blocks, creative blocks that you might have personally, as well as with a team, because we know filmmaking is a collaborative effort. So it's awesome to take these things where you can unlock your personal creativity, get creative confidence in yourself, as well as the collaborative creativity, get over those roadblocks, think about diversifying the thinking from a team, making sure that if you get stuck on an idea, that you can get past those obstacles and move forward to whatever you're creating. So it's really cool. Those 2 courses I love. So yeah, IDOU is definitely an awesome platform for people to just be creative.
Yeah, 100%. I've got my eyes on a few courses, and I'm so glad to have them as a partner. So listen up, guys. Class starts soon, so enroll today. For a limited time, IDOU is offering our listeners 15% off site-wide. These are not cheap courses because they're high quality, so you're going to want that 15% off. Go to IDOU.com/make-it. That's IDEOU.com/make-it for 15% off. One more time. It's IDEOU.com/make-it for 15% off. Enroll today. Summer is officially here, which means mosquito season is in full swing. Whether it's the annoying buzzing that keeps you up at night, waking up covered in bites, struggling to catch one before it disappears, or trying to keep your home safe for the kids, we've been there. I've got 3 kids. Nick has 3 kids. We've been on outdoor sets doing things. Mosquitoes are an absolute nuisance, so we've all been there. But check this out. Our sponsor for this episode is Bazigo Iris, your smart home mosquito detector.
That's right, Chris. It's an awesome sponsor for us to have because
it's different. And
it is different. But Bezigo Iris is a cutting edge device that uses computer vision and AI to detect, track, and pinpoint mosquitoes in real time, which is pretty cool. No more guessing, no more swatting at thin air, which we always do. Just a simple, precise way to finally take control of your space. Now, once a mosquito lands, Bezigo uses an eye-safe laser to pinpoint its exact location. Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
That way you don't look like a fool swatting at the
exactly
air.
Right.
They're laughing at you with their tiny little mouth.
That's it, at the air. And check it out. It also has night vision detection, so it works in total darkness using infrared technology. Man, that's like
detention or detection.
Infrared detention? I don't think so. Infrared detection, infrared technology.
Yeah. So stop losing sleep over mosquitoes, guys. Take back your nights with Bezigo Iris. Go to bezigo.com/discount/buzz10, BUZZ 10, and save 10% off. That's a big number because these are, again, it's a quality product. It has a little price to it. You're going to want that 10% off. That is bezigo.com/discount/buzz10, BUZZ10, spelled not out. So BUZZ10. So buzz10. And use the code buzz10 to get 10% off. And say goodbye to itchy bites and sleepless nights once and for all. Thank you again, Bezigo, for sponsoring this episode. And now, Nick, let's go back to the show.
Let's do it.
Back to the show here with Greta. Now, we promised that we'd ask you about, before we get to some filmmaker Q&A, Nick, please let me co-opt your segment here a little bit by asking a filmmaker Q&A question, which is...
go for it, man.
Thank you. When you worked with Kathy Bates on the new Matlock, and I'm a big fan of the Andy Griffith Matlock. I watched a lot of those when I was younger. The new one I'm really excited about with, what'd you say, Papa Bear?
The Andy Griffith Matlock.
Yeah, what did I say?
You said the Andy Griffith Matlock.
Oh, I thought I said like Andy Warhol or something. Like, what did I say?
That'd be kind of awesome. Andy Warhol Matlock.
Yeah, that'd be a mescaline trip to watch.
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine.
Matlock. But I haven't got a chance to fully see all of them yet. But I know if Kathy Bates is in it, I know it's Matlock. It's going to be awesome. I've only seen, I want to say, one episode of this. I need to watch more, and I am curious what you may have gleaned in your time with her from whether it be like professionalism or acting or anything else.
She was just so beautiful. And what I admire about working with like big name actors, right? Like I always ask them like, what is your process? Like, what do you do? Like to get the lines right. And she was so humble. And she was like, she basically said that she also gets nervous. It's okay. Everybody gets nervous. Everybody messes up. And what I noticed about her is she listens so intently. And when you're acting, it's all about the other person as well. You react off that other person. She was a wonderful scene partner. And I learned listening from her. I also learned that from Jeffrey Wright. Jeffrey Wright was rooted and he was just there. He gave me so much. So I think, and Kathy also, even when the camera was on me, she gave me the same thing. She gave me that same intensity. Like, so it wasn't, the camera wasn't on her. She didn't have to, but she was just a generous actor. And I did the same for her. And I know that she appreciated that well, because she mentioned it to me. So I think I learned definitely professionalism. I learned humility as well, because she was so humble, and just that she's a person like everybody else. She also has insecurities, and she was just magnificent. It was such a blessing. So that's what I learned. Hopefully I answered your question.
You did. And look, we've had actors and actresses on this podcast many times before, and we've heard listening be brought up. But what I don't know if we've ever had anybody, and I'm hoping maybe you can help us out here. Never had anybody just break down, like, when would-be actors hear listen better, they're like, oh, cool, I can do that. I already listen well. But clearly that isn't the case, because you definitely have a wide range of talent in that career. So what are some of these performers missing, creators missing, about the lesson of listening that necessarily isn't translated in the advice of, hey, you got to be a good listener?
So it also depends, right? Sometimes you don't have to listen. Depends on your character. Sometimes we don't listen to humanity. I'm not listening. Go about your business, and then you're not listening. And then you will react, or you say the line based on your internal dialogue. Why? Because you're not listening. But I think listening is important in a broad view, because it's like a ping pong game. You give me, I give you. So if I'm listening to you, I'm going to react based on what you're telling me. My intonation is probably going to change based on what you're telling me. But then, like I said, also, like, it's so important to listen, because sometimes people just want to be in their head and act what they think how they think they should say it. Meanwhile, it doesn't match. You're throwing the ball all over the place. You have to. It's like a game. You got to give it back to each other. So listening is so important, because you'll know what your other. It's always about the other person, I think, anyways, when you're acting. It's always about the other person. You have your internal stuff going on, but you got to listen. Again, if you're supposed to listen, because there are some characters, because I think people forget acting is life. You don't always have to be, you don't always have to listen, depending, again, on the character. You can be in just internal and just not do anything. It really does depend, but listening is very important. But again, it depends on the role that you're doing. But the listening is just about the back and forth.
But is that like matching the intensity? Is that what it is? It's like matching the other person. Is that what listening really is? Because I think that's the hard part, Chris, that I think that it might be for people. It's like, well, what does listening mean? Like, because you think about that as it's your ears, right? I have to hear what a person is saying. It's like, well, like you said, Chris, I'm good at that. I can hear them. But I don't think that's what listening really means. It sounds like it's matching. It's matching the intensity.
It might mean rhythm.
It might be, it might be empathizing. Like you said, you don't have to listen, right? If you're not empathizing.
Empathizing. Yeah, it's a major rule in acting. I think if you have empathy, you can act, I think, honestly. That's a tough question, because there's hearing and listening, right? So it's not really to match your intensity, because you can react, but as long as you're taking in what they're saying rather than just hearing them, letting go. And like a lot of actors tend, like I said before, like they tend to have their own expectations of how they should act. Oh, this scene, I'm really angry, I'm just going to raise my voice. And the other person's like, not raising their voice. And you could technically make that choice, but typically if you're really listening to the person and you may not want to raise your voice. So it really, I can't really explain it, but I think, when you're on set or like when you take classes and stuff, they'll go more in depth over it. But just being there in the moment with the person and reacting organically based on the situation that's going on.
Yeah. Insert yourself into the dialogue.
Yep. Well, reacting organically. That's the key.
Yeah. I think so, Nick, because I don't like about intensity is that you may not be an intense character, right?
Yeah, that's what Greta was saying.
A lot of times,
like that way.
If there's a 2-person scene, there's a power dynamic, basically, usually. And if you're playing the part that's powerless, then matching that intensity wouldn't match.
Yeah, and I think
sort of story
my intent with the matching was more about like, you're seeing the intensity and you're playing off of that, right? Not equaling it, but you're matching it by saying, okay, like you said, if there's a power dynamic, I know the role that I'm playing. So I need, in that moment, I must organically play the part to that role. So yeah, that's it. But yeah, I think organically playing that part, I think.
Yeah, like a great scene to look at. Yeah, like where they're, my God, it's a beautiful scene between Philip Seymour Hoffman and Meryl Streep in the movie Doubt. Mm-hmm. There's a scene that both of them go at it. And it's like an orchestra. It's beautiful. It's beautiful because they're both listening, but they're both reacting based on the circumstance. And they're just there. They're listening. They're present.
Yeah. I'm going to check that. I don't think I've seen Doubt. I need to check that out. Sam, have you seen Doubt?
Oh, you must watch it. It's so good.
No.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that out.
Watch
there
it.
was a
So Philip Seymour
scene.
Hoffman and Meryl Streep.
I mean, how do you even go wrong there?
You go wrong.
But is that your favorite Philip Seymour Hoffman performance, by the way? Is that film or what?
My favorite Philip Seymour Hoffman performance.
You love Philip Seymour Hoffman.
It's a Scent of a Woman by far.
Yeah. For those just listening, Greta just pulled up the screensaver, the wallpaper on her phone, and it's just a close up of Philip Seymour Hoffman. So there's a lot of love there. So what
and the banner on her Facebook page.
Banner on her Facebook page.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
It's Love Liza. That's where I first saw him.
Interesting.
Liza.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of people don't know about the movie, but that's where I fell in love.
Deep cut.
Yeah. Okay. Now I got two Philip Seymour Hoffman movies to watch. I got Doubt and Love Liza to check out. That rhythm that you're talking about, though, there's a scene. You were in Succession. There's a scene in season 4 of Succession where the Shiv character and her husband are just finally having it out. The things they need to say to each other for basically 4 seasons, and it is intense. It sounds exactly like a Marriage on the Rocks would sound, and it was so well written. Shout out to Jesse Armstrong. So well written, so real, so visceral, so raw. It was. Yeah, everybody should just go. Even if you don't like Succession, because there are some people that have told me I don't want to root for these characters because I hate what they're about. Okay, but watch that scene.
That's beautiful. That's a compliment to the actors.
Right, yeah. Exactly. If you actually have that visceral response.
Yeah.
Yes.
I loved it. Exactly, Greta. I think you're spot on. Okay, so Nick, can you lead us into through the woods? Clear path.
Lead us into the educational segment.
Yeah.
Another educational segment
to the deep waters of filmmaker Q&A.
Deep waters. Yeah, we do go deep here. I like that, and it's a call out to Greta's blue that she's wearing. So
there's no lifeguard on duty.
What is that known as? What is that segment known as?
Oh, Filmmaker Q&A, brought to you by Mastering Film Marketing. But guys, for real, just gotta let you know, we got a book out there, Mastering Film Marketing. It's available on our beacons, which, we got all sorts of goodness out there. You can check it out, link in the show notes. But we are always talking to people about, if you're an independent filmmaker specifically, putting your stuff out there, you got to market it. Like, people have to know about the great
non-negotiable.
Okay, yes, 100%. Don't expect it to, you put it up on the wall and then people get to see it. No, you got to show it to people, get it out there. Mm-hmm. So Mastering Film Marketing is available on the beacons, and we got the link in the show notes below. So now let's get to it. Filmmaker Q&A. All right, I wrote these questions down. I like doing that. It's a little tactile. All right, I can have it on the screen, but I wrote them down. So, yeah, man. So, all right, for the first one is, what are the three best resources available to aspiring actors? 3.
Ooh, 3. Backstage magazine.
Yep. You mentioned that like day one, I think, right?
Access.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's been I love Backstage.
Yep.
So Backstage, Actors Access, and casting networks. So Actors Access, sometimes some casting directors may put some auditions down that is open to the public, and then Casting Networks is mostly for commercials, but they also have some short films in there, and it's a good way to build. And Backstage, it's a good way to build your reel, because you can put student films in there, you can even put audition tapes in there just to show your work, so that when you are on Actors Access or you go do a showcase and an agent's like, can I see your work? And then you can send them that link of the short films that you've done, and you can get representation from there. So those 3 are very good.
That's awesome. I was actually thinking about, I don't know how many years ago this was, but like a local musician that I knew was telling me, he was like, yeah, man, they're doing this like local casting call thing, and I'm going to go check it out. I was like, okay, like, what's this about? So you could show, just come support me, whatever. I went. Man, that looked like the shadiest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, they had rented some warehouse space, and I go in there and he's sitting there like with his demo CD and trying to figure out what's going to go. And they keep taking people back, and you see people show up with all these wardrobes and they're taking pictures, and then they come back and they're like, yeah, so all you're going to need to do is come back, and we loved you. We love what you did. So, but you need to come back, and we're going to take those headshots. And, the packages start around $250, $350, something like that. And I see all these mothers in there with their little kids, and I'm like, man, this is not real. You're like, this is fake. So, like, do you see that? Were you ever involved in that? Like, did you ever like get called up to come to one of those things? You have friends go, like, those things are crazy.
When I was younger, prior to my dad winning the lotto, my mom and I
shout out to Pops.
Had gone into, like, it was an ad, I don't know where, it wasn't on Backstage though. And I was like, Mommy, please, por favor. And she ended up taking me, and they were like, just for $1,300, we walk out of there so fast. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like, and especially,
and I was crying. How could you?
It's only $1,000. But yeah, so that's good. Yeah, the ones that you gave, those are great for our audience to know. Like, if you're gonna be serious about it, be serious about it, right? Use the serious services that are gonna get you there. So that's great. All right, the next one.
By the way, Nick, go ahead, man. They have that in music too.
Yeah.
So shout out to Phil Vassar, who is a country music legend in his own right, songwriter for sure. He knew me from Songwriters Nights, and he was furious to find out that a guy had tried to charge me $5,000 for, I think, a 2-song or 4-song demo. At the time, $5,000 would have been like $20,000 today. Like, it's so much money. And he's like, you don't need that at all to get a record deal or to do anything in music. Just keep writing, write great songs. That's all you need to do. Anyway, go ahead, Nick. Avoid the grip.
That's it. That's it right there. If they ask you for money up front, it's a no-go.
Yeah, and if they don't pay you for your IP up front, it's also likely a grift, in film specifically. Film distribution. Avoid pay later contracts with specific dollar amounts in the contract. Anyway, go ahead, Nick.
Yep. All right, next one. How important are agents and managers in booking TV roles, and how did you find yours?
It's very important to have an agent and manager, because agent and managers, they have access to, which is a division of actors' access to something called breakdowns. And that's where all the studios look for their actors. Okay. That's where everything happens. The co-stars, guest stars, recurring guest stars, top of show guest stars. That's where it all takes place. So it's very important to get an agent and a manager. Oh, not necessarily a manager, but more an agent. And how I got mine, the first one was the showcase. Got me with a Polaroid. Thank you, Shirley. But after that, I went on places like Actors Connection, who I love so much. The Actors Connection has been around forever. And there you get to meet agents. They give you sides and you perform in front of the agents. And if they're interested, they'll give you a call. And that's how I got my agents. That's how I got them. So classes and study.
So let me ask you about the studying real quick.
Which way? Like, wait, Nick, which one?
Yeah, which one? No. Which one?
There was
the third
8
one.
studies.
The third one. The third study.
Third study.
So I was at a film festival, and I was in an acting course, and a young lady got up and was saying something about
study 3.
I think she had done like 70 different auditions, and she hadn't booked something yet, right? And she'd been taking these acting classes, and as sad as it is, one of the first things I thought of, I was like, well, maybe you're actually just not that good, right?
So mean.
You've done all these things.
You're so mean.
Because at some point, I feel like there's the balance between giving positive feedback, saying just keep at it, right? Because I hear this a lot. Keep doing what you're doing, and you'll be successful, right? But what if you're doing the wrong thing? So my question, the kind of follow up would be, if you're taking these classes from, let's say, a person, right? And you're not booking. When do you stop taking the classes from that person and go somewhere else? When do you decide that you need to change it up? I know there's no number, but in your mind, like, when do you know you need to do something different to get that next role?
So I think, so whenever I study, it's just like learn different techniques to get you to where you want to be with a role, to get you to book the job, to get you to explore a character. But if you innately can relate to that character, if you innately can, just use that. Because I think people get too caught up also on technique that they lose humanity and you go backwards. Right. So acting classes, like things like Strasberg, he does the method. You have relaxation exercises. It teaches you how to get yourself out of your own way. Right. So like Meisner, repetition, it just gets you comfortable so that you can go from within, from your experiences, or well, not necessarily Meisner, but Strasberg, from your experiences, and you let go. You're able to relax. So that's a major thing, relaxation, because I think that's when you can do your best work, because you're just loose. Right. But some people get stuck in the technique of it all. Like, what's the objective of this scene? Or, what the different techniques out there, right? I can't even think of them right now. And people get so lost in that, and they forget the freaking line is just, "Kai, can I take your order?"
Right.
It's like, just say the line.
Just say it.
Just say the line.
I sound like Salma Hayek. Just say the line.
Well, that's my favorite of all time. Just so you know. I
love Salma.
Yeah, she's the best, and she's on.
By the way, Salma Hayek gave me my first background job.
Really?
She gave me my first background job. Salma Hayek. Yeah. She in David Letterman's show from back in the day, Sam. Woo. And she was signing autographs, and I had an ex-boyfriend that lived around the corner from the David Letterman show. I forgot the name of it. Ed Sullivan Theater.
Ed Sullivan Theater.
And I'm like, who are they waiting for? Yeah, I'm like, who are they waiting for? And I asked the people, I'm like, who are you waiting for? And I was like very young. And they were like, Salma Hayek. And I was like, oh my gosh, Salma Hayek. Let me see how she looks in real person. Is she that gorgeous? She was. So then I'm like waiting there, and she comes, and I remember knowing her birthday is the same as mine, September 2nd.
Oh, wow.
And I said to her,
Virgo.
oh, we share the same birthday, trying to make conversation, right? She's like, oh my gosh, we're the same birthday, but you're much younger than me. Oh my gosh. I'm filming, so do you want to be an extra? And I'm like, what? Yeah. Go over there later today, and I'll make sure you become an extra. And I was an extra in Studio 54 because of her.
Wow.
Yeah. Hi, Salma.
She's one of my favorites. Yeah. She's on the cover of Sports Illustrated. So
yeah,
like
right now.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah. She never thought she would be on there ever, because she didn't think that she was that type of pretty. And here at this stage of her life, people are telling her, "Hey, you're that type of pretty." So,
all right, guys, I'll be back.
Let's do this.
I'm gonna check this out.
Yeah, man, that's my lady. Yeah, that's my lady. All right. So next one.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, everybody's got a thing.
Okay, put these pictures in the chat now.
Yeah. You can't get distracted, man. Can't get distracted. Okay, here's a question. So we are big fans of the idea of like produce where you are. We've said that probably, 1,000 times in the podcast. Yeah. But do you believe that you actually have to live in or near LA, New York, or Miami to get on TV?
No. Now that since COVID, we do everything in self-tape, so you record it and you upload it. You can be anywhere in the world, and you can say I don't advise this, but if they're looking for a local hire, say you're local hire. I'm local hire in Paris.
Right. I'll get there.
Wherever I can get to work, I'll get there.
Right.
I'm local hire, local to the airport.
Right.
Play the game a little bit, right?
Well, that's awesome.
You have to.
Yeah, you got to play the
great,
game a little bit.
I think that's still, because that's what we think about, right? I think still, it's a trope, but you think about the actors in the cafes and the restaurants in LA, right? And they're handing out stuff, they're talking to people, and you feel like that's where it is and that's where the business is. But like, so I know you did one in Atlanta, the show, but like, have you done anything, let's say outside of the big four, like LA, New York, Miami, Atlanta? Have you done series elsewhere in states that we wouldn't even think about?
No, but I've done a play in Serbia and Ireland.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a lot of fun. It started in New York, and they had us go to Serbia and Ireland. That was beautiful.
I heard Ireland is
beautiful.
incredible.
But for TV and film, I got close to Hungary, but I didn't book it.
I heard Ireland's really beautiful, but I haven't heard about Serbia. What is Serbia like? Just as a quick sidebar, I'm curious. Like, is Serbia like old architecture, like concrete brutalist style, or what is it like?
I really didn't spend that much time there. Okay, so
focus.
Transparent. I'm very anxious too. I'm an anxiety-ridden person. I live in fear. So it was just my theater. I will go to the play, rehearse, come back. Go to the play, rehearse, come back. Because I don't know the language. Go to the play, come back. You know what I mean? You know, I didn't know. Yeah, Ireland was really nice. It was like a pub. You know how they have Starbucks here in they have pubs in every corner.
Yeah. So you stay, and then you still didn't have alcohol, right?
No,
amazing. She got it spilled on her.
Amazing.
That's
amazing. Hey, how does this even? How do you show up in Ireland and don't drink? It's amazing. Your willpower is equal to your anxiety. You have kryptonite over here, and then you have like a superpower over here.
Yeah, because I'm worried. Like, what if I drink and then I lose control and I pass out and I urinate on myself? That brings me anxiety, so therefore I don't do it.
Look, Nick, she didn't want to be a stranger in Moscow.
She doesn't. She doesn't.
Shout out to Michael Jackson. All right, continue, please, sir. Oh yeah, that's it.
All right. My last two aren't Q&As. Okay. This is for Greta, and I was gonna say it was for intern Sam too, but I don't think he's gonna. You know, he's not up on his Philip Seymour Hoffman. So I've got two
deep offense taken by intern Sam.
No. He's just. I mean, I'm just saying he might not be on the level. That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Because Greta's here. So I've got two riddles, and I want to see if you can figure out what these two movies are. All right, so Sam, you can join up if you want. So the first one is this. A whisper becomes a storm in sacred halls.
Okay.
Where one woman's certainty threatens a man's calling. There is no proof, only suspicion, and the silence that says too much or too little. In a place ruled by faith, one question lingers without end.
That riddle's too long, dog.
Doubt.
You got it.
Damn it.
Yes. I knew she was going to get that. I was like, I could see it. I could see it in her eyes. That's perfect. All right. So it's doubt. And Sam, see, he wasn't quick enough. So it's all good.
He hadn't seen
no worries. No, he hasn't seen it. Exactly. All right. Second one and last one.
That was great.
Ready?
That was good read too, Nick, for them.
Yeah, she's got. Thank you. All right, except for
that was excellent.
Mistake. All right. He wore tailored suits and sipped whiskey in hot tubs, yet changed the course of a distant war with a whisper. A congressman with a taste for excess, a spy with a grudge and a plan, and a Texan hostess who pulled the strings behind the curtain. Their fight was secret, their victory public, but peace was never part of the deal.
Yes, it's a movie with Tom Hanks and Julia Roberts and him, but I can't remember the name of Heart. No, wasn't it? I can't remember the name of the movie, but I know it's with Julia Roberts, Tom Hanks. Can I look it up? And I'll give you the name.
Wait, Sam first.
I can't look it up.
You were right.
Hoffman was gone before Sam was even born.
Yeah. It is, the movie title is Charlie Wilson's War.
Charlie Wilson's War.
Yes.
Great movie.
Yeah. So she had it though.
That was an awesome movie.
Yeah,
I did. Julia Roberts. I knew it was.
You had it. I know.
I knew it was that one. I remember him in a Greek. Yeah.
I'm gonna give it to you. Well done. That's it. That's all I got. I had to throw those in there. No. You got the first one and the second. You just didn't have the title. You knew the movie.
She knew the movie. She said the title.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, Greta, have you noticed producer Papa Bear's background here. Now, for those just listening, he is, I guess the way I would describe it is he has a digital background that has bowling pins, but from the POV of behind the pins instead of.
He is a bowling pin.
I'm on.
He himself is a bowling pin.
Perilous side of bowling pins.
Right.
Correct.
Living on the edge.
Do you know this, Greta? This might be the third riddle, but not on purpose. It is an homage to you, by the way.
Yes, I know.
Because you do love bowling, but it's also an extra homage.
She knows the movie. She's hurting. She knows who's in it, too. Like, she has ideas of who this is.
I had a second things we should know that relates to this. But because of some discussions we had.
I knew you were hurting, PB, when they were. I knew it. I could see it in your face. Like, he was like, dang it. He was like, dang it, Bobby.
Give him the easy
What the hell?
What the hell?
Dang it, boy.
That's right. That's right.
There it is. Nailed it. Phillips
and why? In there. Why? Wait. Why, PB?
Well,
why do you have this?
It's the one film that Philip Seymour Hoffman appeared in that has been selected for the National Film Registry by the Library of Congress as being culturally, historically, and aesthetically significant.
That's beautiful.
That is interesting, actually. You'd think that, especially with some of his other work and things like Boogie Nights. Yeah, maybe they would have. Yeah.
Capote was great. The one he did with Marissa Tomei, what was that, Greta?
Yes. The Devil Knows You're Dead.
The Devil Knows You're Dead.
The Devil Knows You're Lying. The Devil Knows Something.
No, it's Before the Devil Knows. It's called Before the Devil Knows Everything. Before the Devil Knows You're Dead. It's called Before the Devil Knows You're Dead.
Before the Devil Knows You're Dead. Okay.
Which is a great
the movie
title.
Before the Devil.
Yeah.
Really, no, before that. No,
really,
before
really,
that, Greta.
Really, really great title, right? Like,
Sam was the only one that got what I was saying.
Yeah.
I love that movie, by the way. It's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And
Ethan Hawke's amazing in that too.
Yeah, Ethan Hawke will steal a movie from you. You know, like go back and watch Training Day. But like go back and watch Training Day, and then go watch it for Ethan Hawke instead of Denzel, and you might come to the conclusion that he might have stole that movie from Denzel, even though Denzel won the Oscar for it.
No. He probably did it for a lot of other things, but not that.
That's like Denzel's. That's like one of Denzel's best. Like,
because
he won an Oscar for that.
Is it really?
He did.
I think people say that because he won an Oscar, but that was the year where Black people had to win an Oscar. So we forget that in history. That Oscar was the one where they gave it to Halle. They gave it to Halle. They gave it to Denzel, and they gave it to it was the diversity year. And I'm not saying Denzel didn't kill it because he absolutely did, but to say that's his best role, to say he's better in that than he was in Philadelphia or Glory or anything.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I just think he won for that one. He just won.
His best role. Let's not get it twisted. Is in American Gangster. That's his best role.
American Gangster's pretty good. I don't know if this is.
Have you all seen Glory?
Yeah, Glory. But I give it to Malcolm X. Like nobody talks about Malcolm X. I'm sorry. Like
great.
That's it for me.
You see, that's the one that I think is kind of pushed as his best. You see, that's what I.
No. I don't hear people talk about Malcolm X like that. That's what I'm saying. Like I hear people say Glory. Oh, I'm glad. I want to hang out with your friends, bro, because Malcolm X is one of my favorites. I'm like, he did it. He was Malcolm X. That's what I'm saying. When I think about Malcolm X, I think about Denzel Washington. Like, that's it for me. Yeah. Yes, and Glory was great, and
Training Day was great, but it just felt like.
No, man, it's just
people
the way he
default
did.
to Training
He
Day
went
because he
all out.
won. Go back and watch it again, and watch what Ethan Hawke has to do to make that movie. Go.
I would agree. I mean, I think Denzel is really one of these actors where you could argue almost any one of his roles is the best. You know, I think that he.
Devil in a blue dress.
Did some numbers.
Yeah, he was great in this last Gladiators too. I thought he was really.
I'm ready
in Gladiator 2. I thought he was really great in that. But I just and maybe I won't stick to this 100%. But I'd just say go back and watch Training Day again and watch what Ethan Hawke had to do to make that movie go. Just check it out as objectively as you can. Okay, this has been fantastic. So many things piled in, stacked in, jammed into one amazing episode. Greta, you've been incredible. And like we do at the end of every episode, we ask all of our guests, what does it mean for you to make it?
What does it mean to make it?
Mm-hmm. But personal to you? It's
personal to me.
Yeah. I know there's a way to answer it for everybody, but maybe for you.
No.
Yeah. I feel that I made it only because, not that I'm a household name, but that I'm acting and I'm living my dreams ever since I was a kid. And also, aside from acting, like, I have a great job in doing social work. My mom passed away of dementia 4 years ago. So now I help people with loved ones who have that ailment. And so where I was before, where I was raised, we would see people get shot in front of us, and we were homeless for a little bit too. So I think I've made it just because of that. And I think the definition of making it is different for everyone. I pray one day to walk a red carpet, God willing, but I'm good. I've made it because I've worked with Kathy Bates. I've been on set. I even if it was a short film, when I booked that first co-star, it was on Rescue Me. It was with Dennis Leary. I didn't have any lines, but I gave birth. I made it right there in that moment. Mm-hmm. I made it. So that's what it means to me. It's perseverance, dedication, and what your idea of making it is, just to be happy in the moment that you're living it and be grateful. And when you've established those little traits, I think you've made it. So I made it.
That's a beautiful answer.
Amen.
Yeah. Woman of my own heart, by the way. Overcame some things myself. I really relate to that. But the main thing I think the four of us on this podcast relate to on that, and I'll speak for you guys, but if you disagree, feel free to jump in, is just that anything you do is worth doing with passion, right? Like, it doesn't matter if 1 million people are watching this show or one person's watching this show. Mm-hmm. I take myself back to that story where Tupac invites Janet Jackson when they're shooting their movie together to a concert, and she was the only person there. And he rocked the stage like it was a packed crowd. That's how the story went. And that's how you have to go out every day, especially as a creative. You get told no a lot. You get a lot of rejection. You're not getting everything you want all the time. It's incredibly competitive. And so I think that making sure you go out and have that gratitude for just being in the position, like Nick always says, we get to do this. I think that's a form of making it for sure. Tell us again what you have coming up. Tell us where we can find you on social media, on the internet, see some of your work, all the things.
Okay. Well, Divorce Sisters is coming out on BET.
I like that pronunciation.
And that's awesome. It's coming out mid-June. And let's see what else. And then, you can catch me on Matlock. You can go on Paramount Plus. And, there's all the little things I've done. You can check out my IMDb. That is linked to my Instagram. Mm-hmm. And you can follow me at Greta Quispe on Instagram and on Facebook. And I'll follow you back because I don't like those people that don't follow people back.
I love that.
And then stay following me because then if you unfollow me, I will unfollow you.
Unfollow you.
Try to get numbers.
Don't mess with me. I won't mess with you.
That's right.
Just for those listening.
Before the Brooklyn came out, I said word.
Yeah, right. I felt it.
I went to.
Yeah.
For those just listening, that is spelled Quispe. If you go search for that, so Greta Quispe. This has been an absolute blast. One T, Greta, not TTA. Are there TTAs?
No.
I've never seen a Greta TTA.
No. One T, I'm like, one T.
Yeah, no.
They're being ridiculous. I'm sure.
No, come on.
Thank you, Sam.
Do you still pronounce it Greta?
Or is
it Greta?
Greta. There's a Greta Quispe.
Roll your keys.
That's an exciting name. That's an exciting name. Greta. All right.
Man, I had to pick up some rugs at Lowe's last night. And the girl in there, her name was Holly.
Segue.
Her name was Holly. And I got to wait for these rugs because there's a dude that has to bring it from the back. She's like, some people, they spell my name with an I-E. We got a girl here. She goes I-E. It's not even her real name. And I'm like, why are you sharing this? This is insane. This is amazing.
Because she was waiting too.
It's like you've been waiting all day to tell me about
therapy moment, bro.
Exactly.
Like
it's all day to just say,
that off her chest,
she's like, yeah,
and you were
she's
just
a
there.
bitch.
Yep.
She's like using the IE. Her name's really why I like me. I could go IE. I could go IE. I've got more self-confidence than that. So I love it. Okay, Greta with one T, Quispe. Go find her. Go support her. Go follow her everywhere she's at. It is going to be well worth it. You are a blast to be around. You're a joy. You're a light. I can feel the energy through the screen. Thank you for your attention, engagement, energy on the podcast. If you are watching this podcast on YouTube, you know what to do. Subscribe, like, share, watch this thing, engage with us. We'll engage with you back.
Engage.
If you're on Apple and Spotify, come on over to YouTube. We have a great platform here for you. But if you want to stay there, that's all good. Maybe you're on your morning drive. We get that. I get that. I do that. What you need to do is drop 5 stars for us. Go ahead. Not 1 star, not 2, not 3, not 4. We need 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th. We need 5. We need 5 stars on Spotify and on Apple.
And reviews.
And reviews. It really helps with discoverability. Do your thing out there, community. We really appreciate it. Appreciate you for that. Like Papa Bear mentioned before, go to cottonbureau.com for all of our gear and our partnership there. Just search for the Make It Podcast. Nick mentioned earlier, we have an ebook on beacons.ai/Make It Podcast. So beacons.ai/Make It Podcast. We have a few digital products for you there. But the one he talked about was movie film. Was it movie film marketing? Oh, mastering. Film. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Mastering film marketing. My bad. Rewind that, undo that.
It's all to the good.
Yeah, Mastering Film Marketing. Go get that. It's a great ebook. You can't really succeed without marketing your film. Even if it's a short film, you may not be able to monetize it the way you hope, but at least eyeballs can get on it by using these techniques in this book. And that's what you're looking for. The short film can be at springboard to your feature or to something else that you do. So make sure you go download that. Right now from beacons.ai. Great platform. Shout out to Beacons. Beacons.ai/Make It Podcast. And we'll come right up and you can download from there. And with that, Nick, can you please leave us with the credo?
Yeah, man. And of course, before I do that, I was just thinking about the gratitude thing and had like an internal Jesse Jackson moment, and it was bubbling up in me. And I was just thinking, I was like, when gratitude is your attitude. Okay, listen up now. When gratitude is your attitude, there's no limit to your altitude. You hear me now? Intern Sam, you got me on that. All right. You got to write that. I just got to put it on the wall, man.
We say that I love because we love you so much. So, in love and respect,
Greta, just so you know, because you don't know, because Chris be pushing that button and playing this random stuff. That was me. That was a voicemail that I had dropped to somebody, and Chris was snipping it. But
I snipped the voicemail.
You snipped the voicemail.
No, that was good. By the way, things you should know: Jesse Jackson is given credit for the term African American. The popularization of the term African American. Now, I've said on this podcast many times that white people created that. I still believe that, but he's the face of it.
No. He came up with African American.
That was kind of like an amalgamation between Obama and Jesse Jackson. No, that's Clinton right there. Clinton's forward.
Yeah, get them all together, and it saves you more. Yeah. All right, guys, this was great. Again, Greta, thank you for this. This is awesome. Like I said earlier, it's like family. That's what it felt like. Yep. It was just a great conversation. We loved it. We appreciate you. And with that, I will say to our filmmaking friends, family, fans, and followers out there, be better, be creative, be engaged.
And thank you for listening. Papa Bear, Nick, Sam, love you all. See you soon. Greta,
appreciate you.
See you soon.
Greta.
My voice cracked like Bobby Brady like there, but it's all good.
It's all good. You were verklempt. It's all good. You know what I'm saying?
And in 5, 4, 3, 2,
and that's our show.
1. And that's our show. See you guys all.
Later,
soon.
folks.
Love you. Be good.
Bye.
Peace.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
You can't rely on blind faith to get the pregnancy support you deserve. Ritual's Essential Prenatal Multivitamin is the only leading prenatal backed by its own human clinical trial. Essential Prenatal is proven to deliver key nutrients, including folate, biotin, and vitamin D during pregnancy. Get 25% off when you visit ritual.com/clinical. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.